Okay, I just need 2 more. One more candy corn, and then I can reset and never have to do this event again. This game, please. Finally. I'm not doing this. No, I'm not doing that event again. I don't want to. Okay. Finally, I get to use the weapons. Anyways, yeah, I did grind the event a lot. Right, just go to my bank. I'm gonna probably just... Okay, actually right now, I don't. Okay, right, Swamp Bank, Halloween event, Crimson Rapier. Oh god, I have such a small amount of candy corn, but it's... Ooh, that looks clean. Ooh, that is nice. Welcome. In this video, I will be discussing all the new Halloween event stuff, the new raid, and all the gear that they added, like the Hello Swordsman armor sets, the Rapier, the Grave Striker, the Acid Gun Lance, the Little Man, and just all of it. Also, I will be discussing some strategies to use in the raid to sort of like just kind of maximize your sort of method on doing it. Let's get into the video. Let us begin with the Grave Striker. This weapon is the weapon that I got first in this event, and is possibly the best. Depends on how you look at it. Its M1s do really good damage. They don't really have the AoE of someone like, say, Sun Katana or Carefree Sword Style. However, if you look at something like, say, the Critical, or Special, it has like really good action rate. These guys do not have enough HP to show. I'm gonna go to Hiei. Okay, so now that we are at Hiei, I do wish to show you the damage of it. Just pressing it, one-shots it. Like that. It just one-shots it. Nothing else, just straight up one-shot. I wasn't even using Super Saiyan, Slayer Mark, Buso Haki, nothing. It just straight up one-shots. It's a really good critical. It has special. It has amazing AoE, and it just has like no cooldown as well. Next, we will go over the second weapon that I got this event, being the Acid Gun Lance. This weapon is a slight change of the Cosmic Gun Lance, being for people who like that, it's kind of like an upgrade, I guess. The M1s are the same as that other weapons, you know. They free the M1s, then, you know, like a barrage of bullets. Showing like 500. That's just the good night. If you see it. He's not here. Oh. A paladin. Okay, so the paladin has good HP, I think. And yeah, the special is the only good thing about this. I would say never use this weapon ever. Like, I mean that, it's pretty fucking garbage. It does come with a built-in shield though, which is good. Some ones are bad. Criticals, or specials, alright. It's not that great though. Next off, we've got the thing that I got after, which would be the Little Man. The Little Man is a summon that requires 1 magic. It has 2000 HP and does about 140 per hit. Hold on. As you can see, we have the little man here. He TPs to me if I get too far away from him. And let's go to these bandits, for example. Going to these bandits, when you get close enough, he will get sort of like aggro range and do his sort of like attack. It's not the greatest in the world, but it is something. It's also just something that you can add on to your build, just no real con to having him on there. Also, enemies will target him if, well, he's closer than you, like to the enemy, which is really useful. Finally, we've got second lastly, we've got the Headless Horseman armor set. The Headless Horseman armor set is a solid armor set. Definitely not as good as like Doma's set or Rotted Knights, but it is still pretty good. The plate gives you a total of 1,400 HP and 875 mana. The cape gives you 904 HP and 666 mana. And lastly, the leggings give you 1,300 HP and 725 mana. And the final thing, probably the thing that's the most valuable in this event, is the Crimson Rapier. This is a rapier. No shit. It's M1, so alright, but the main thing that you'd really want this weapon for is the special. You plant your sword into the ground and do 5 ticks of a sort of explosion thing. Anyone hit by this explosion will cause you to deal damage to them and just straight up heal. You will heal 5. Each tick of it will heal 5% of your max HP. For example, I have the full Rotted Knight set, so I have like 7.3k HP. So I heal like 250 per thing. And each hit is mouse aimed. You could put it right in front of you, or you could put it like over. I wish I didn't do this in winter. Or you could do it on the cooldown is like 17 seconds. That is a major flaw about this weapon. But you could just use it over there. It would basically, its range is basically like unlimited. Okay. Now we will get onto the raid. Okay. Alright, so there is one more thing. There is like one more thing you can get from this event, and it's probably the most underwhelming one. I completely forgot about it until I actually finished recording this entire video, but we have a mount. This mount cannot fly. It has some alright speed. If we go over to these bandits real quick, it just kind of uses like, the boss's attack. That's alright. Okay, right. So in this bit of the video, we are going to be showing you what the Halloween dungeon is and how to do it. First off, it has to be fall, like it is now. And also, you have to come over here, ignore that time stop, and go into this hole, go to the blue fires there, come into here, and go to this bit. If it's not fall, it will say closed. You go over here with anyone you want. It's just like a regular ass raid, where if you enter the circle thing with someone else, you and that person will go in there. And now, in this raid, I'm going to suggest a few things you should use for this raid. Okay, now that we are in the raid, I am going to, while it's like load and shit, I'm going to suggest a couple weapons. First off, if you are planning to do it solo, get the Zafkiel. This raid is definitely a lot easier if you bring the Zafkiel. and I would say it's practically needed to solo it with. But I would say that's only for the boss. Like, you only need Death Keel for the boss if you want to solo. Apart from that, though, you can use pretty much any weapon you want, but I would say use weapons with big AoEs. Also, as you can see here, that one candy corn gave me one candy corn. Every enemy you kill in this raid gives one, some give two. And you can spend them on this event. I, as someone who has played Legends of Rin since you actually dropped, I already have the Grave Striker. I already had it free, like from the previous Halloween event, so I never actually had to sort of grind for this. So, you know, I just kind of had them. Also, if you are someone who, well, most people do not have the Crimson Rapier, I really would suggest getting the Healer Blessing if you are planning to solo, because the Healer Blessing gives incredible healing. Like, actually incredible healing. With Super Saiyan, you heal about 1000 HP per thing, being like about 500 without the thing. And, okay, so now that we have killed everyone outside here, I'm going to show you guys the actual raid sort of thing. Now, in the, you know, like, first off, you know, you can, like, buy things with, like, a certain amount of fucking candy corn. You know, 666 for the egg, 3000 for the Crimson Rapier, 4000 for the Raid Striker. Do not buy the pumpkin hats and the pumpkin bees unless you want the drip, because their stats kinda suck. From what I can remember, they are not really that worth it. Like, you know, this is not worth it, and this especially is not worth it. Unless you're going for drip, do not get it. Next, we have the sort of main bulk. These room things, there are 3 different colors. This one is the purple room, or pink room, or whatever. And in this room, it's just like a little catacombs bit. By the way, in every single room, you can find a little man, and if you collect 3 of these dudes, by the way, there's 1 per room, you can get the little man, the, you know, the summon that I showcased at the beginning. I would say try to get it if you haven't. It's kind of just a free thing. You can just have it active at all times, unless, I'm pretty sure you can have it with Mimic. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's alright. I personally have never used the Mimic because I've never actually gone it. But yeah. You kind of just do this until you kill 108 enemies in this area. The purple area has the least amount of, like, enemies, and, like, it has the weakest ones. In this area, we have the stronger enemies, though it doesn't really look like that, because I one-shot them. Like, you've got stronger enemies here. I personally think that the Grave Striker is better for this, just because it's so much more reliable. Like, the cooldown is so much shorter, and you just straight up one-shot all the enemies very easily. Like, it's just and also the cooldown is, like, really short. I'll come back to when, you know, I've actually, like, finished this sort of a room, and I'm on to the next room. Okay, now that we have, you know, killed everyone in this raid, we are... Oh, there's one left. Okay, so now that we have killed everyone there, we can now go to the next room, which is the final room. First off, this is why Healer Blessing is really good for this. You can just heal. I know, amazing. And as you might already know, health regen is very shit in this game. And this room is like the others, but I'm pretty sure it has the most out of all the rooms. Like the most enemies. Like I said before, you can find the little man in any of the rooms. Like, you find one little man in each room, and then you get the little man pet. It's alright. I would really recommend playing it. It's kind of just extra DPS. You don't need it, but it is good. On to the next room. No, not the next room. Alright, so I'm gonna do something like, you know, the red room where I'm just gonna cut until, like, you know, I'm done with this room. Okay. Now that room is done, you may be wondering, well, I mean, like, there's only 3 rooms. There isn't anything else to check. Well, you're right, but also you're wrong at the same time. Because they respawn for some weird reason only when you've kind of killed everything else. It's annoying, but it's alright. I do wish that they all respawned after finishing the... Well, no, just kind of spawned in all at once. It would make this raid a lot faster and just straight up a lot nicer. Oh, it's alright. Gray Striker, yet again, is probably the fastest to do this raid with. Okay, now that we have done all of that, we are going to be equipping the Zaf heal. And by the way, entering that portal will, like, you know, sort of like start the boss fight. So I'm going to be healing and sort of like prepping for it. During the, like, sort of like prepping for this boss, I am just going to be, you know, using that, increasing my speed, because that is very good for this boss fight. Okay, now that we are ready, we are going to be doing the boss. This boss is quite a different one. It has, you know, some, like, simple enough moves to avoid. This boss isn't too hard, but it does do a lot of damage, and as you just saw there, it does spam a lot of moves, like a lot. I would say this boss is hard if you're trying to solo it without Zaf heal, but if you are using Zaf heal, you can just kind of speed with it. It's not that big a deal. I would say about this boss first. I would just say that left or right. If you guys stuck in this, like, moves like, you know, I just did, I'm just gonna try and carry it. There's some bonus damage. Now that this boss is defeated, as you probably would assume, you get boss drops. Now you can get like any of the normal boss drops, and just from this boss, like, you know, the stuff I have. You can get the Sal Acid Gun Lance, but you cannot get stuff like the Crimson Rapier and the Grave Striker. Mainly just like the Headless Horseman set and the Sal Acid Gun Lance, stuff like that. Now, now that we are... Now, you may be wondering, well, doesn't this place look familiar? And then you might notice this is the exact same as before. This raid repeats endlessly, and depending on how many rounds you survived, it will show at the bottom of your screen saying round survived 1, because I just survived 1 round. Now, everything will still be active to you. Like, for example, your health will stay the exact same. That is why I suggest bringing Healer Blessing. And also, your clones from Zathkiel will still be here. This is a really long raid. I'm just gonna... this raid is long. Sort of. It takes a really long time to get the Halloween items. I'd say get them if you like the look of them, and they look fun to you. But anyways, that is the Halloween event. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and hope this was helpful.